Alright, so finally it's time for me to make a video now that has been long overdue. I'm pretty sure I had at least 3 or 4 other people request this of me like 2 or 3 years ago, and of course I just kept putting it off and forgetting about it and not getting it done. But now I'm finally in a good position where I can make this video because, well, I don't really have anything else to do with my channel at the moment because unfortunately my Roxio capture card and laptop issue still has not been resolved, and so therefore I still can't make my regular DDR videos that I normally make. And so if I can't do that, I can at least finally get this done because, it's been too long, and I can finally get it done now, and so why not? So without further ado, buckle up and brace yourselves because there is quite a lot to go over. And for those of you who have watched my update videos in the past, you might tell that I'm not really good at explaining things, and I'm always stuttering and bumbling and stammering and screwing up my words and repeating myself and just always struggling to figure out what to say next. And sometimes I breathe a little too much. You can hear me panting as I'm talking, and it's just really bad. So I'll still do my best to put this video together and explain things as best as I can, but just do prepare yourself that I'm probably going to screw up a couple of times while I'm speaking, so just prepare for that. But anyway, without further ado, here is my tutorial video on how to put together background video sequences in Stepmania. Now, before we get started with anything, the first thing I should tell you guys right off the bat is that I have an older version of Stepmania. It's called Stepmania 3.9. And the reason why I have that older version, it's actually really old. That came out like in 2007, I think. It's a pretty old version, but because I grew up with it, I just got used to it, and I like it, more than the updated versions, which I know might sound funny, and silly, but I just really do prefer the older version. But the reason I bring that up is because if you have like Stepmania 5 or any other newer version that I might not even know about, I don't know how well this is going to work for you. I don't know if you'll be able to follow along and do the same things that I'm doing, because I don't know if the files are laid out the same way with various different versions of Stepmania. So if you happen to have a different version of Stepmania and you can't follow along, I'm sorry, but there's nothing else I can really do. But this is my way of doing background videos on the version of Stepmania that I have, and that's really the best that I can do. So I do apologize if you can't follow along, if you end up having a different version of Stepmania. So I do apologize for that, but that's there's nothing else I can do about that. But anyway, so with that out of the way, the first thing that we're going to do is open up this window right here, and this is called the Stepmania program window. And like I said, I have Stepmania 3.9, so I don't know if this window and the layout of the files will be the same if you have a different version, more updated version of Stepmania. But this is how it comes out if you have the version that I have. And the file, there's a website that I'll show you in just a second. This is where you download the background clips, the background video clips, and they will be put into this file right here, and this is called Random Movies, and this is the file again. And the reason I want to make that clarification is because there's another file up here called BG Animations, and that obviously stands for background animations, but the background clips that you will download do not go into this file. They will go into this file right here, and I'll even show you, click on it right here, so you can see all the DDR background animation clips that have been downloaded and put into this file. So just remember, when I show you the website, we download the background clips. The background clips will not go into the BG Animations folder. They will go into the Random Movies folder. And now for the actual background animation clips, I will put a link. I will put the link to this website in the description of this video, so you can have access to it and you can download the files. But this is the website where you download the background animation clips, and specifically you will click on this link right here, US Mirror. Now I won't do it here because I already ahead of time, it's a pretty big file and it will take a while to download, so, and I didn't want to have to sit here and wait for the file to download, so I already downloaded it ahead of time. But you will click on this, and then you will say okay, but I'm not going to do it because I already did it. So, and then you will wait for it to download. And something else I also probably should have mentioned first before I started this. I don't know what kind of laptop or computer you have, but obviously I'm not going to assume that the people watching this, we all have the same laptop or PC or computer or whatever. So I'm not sure how your computer will function. Hopefully you'll have no problem getting to these files and such. Sorry, I need to backtrack for a second. How do you open this window? Well, this is how I open up this window on my computer. So I go down to the bottom left corner of the screen on this blue square, and I go down, and then I'll scroll over, and then open Stepmania program folder, and it'll open up. So that's how I get to it on my laptop. So I don't know how it is on your laptop or computer, but that's how I do it on mine. So anyway, now back to the other thing, the main thing. So after you download it, hopefully on your computer, it does. This is what happens on mine. It automatically opens. Hopefully you won't have to go searching for it, because I know some computers will do that. But so after it downloads, and also side note, it will take a while to download, because as you can see, it's a big file, and you got all these background animation clips. And so it's a lot of memory, so it will take a while to download. But after it downloads, you open it up, and then I won't do it here because, as you guys already saw, I already have it downloaded onto mine. But what you'll do is you'll select them all like that, and I'm not going to go all the way down, but because you can get the idea. But you'll select them all, and when they're all selected, and this might be a little tricky because you might want to put the windows close together. So you'll go down, you'll take all the stuff that you selected, and you'll drag it, and be careful dragging it, because you don't want to accidentally drag it to the wrong folder, and because that process can be a pain in the ass to go into the wrong folder, and you have to re-delete it. You have to delete it, and then you're going to have to re-copy everything and try again. So select all the background animation clips and carefully drag them, and you will drag them onto random movies, and then the download process should start. And eventually you'll have all of the background clips here put into here. And that's the first major half of part of this tutorial, is just downloading it and putting them into the random movies folder. So that's how you get the clips, and you download them, and that's the folder you put them on. And then once that's done, click out of this, and now we'll go to the next part of this tutorial. Let's open up Stepmania. Let's hope this isn't too loud. All right, give this a minute. Yeah, if you haven't used Stepmania in a while, it'll take a while to open up. At least that's what happened. That's what happens with my laptop. There we go. And this is actually probably the part of the tutorial that will get a little tricky for me to explain, so just do your best to follow along with me, and I'll do my best to explain stuff. Yeah, give it a minute. We'll get there eventually. It'd be nice if this could open up a little faster. Come on. Yeah, just give it a minute, people. It will eventually open up again. All right, here we go. There we go. All right. So here we are at the home. And again, this is Stepmania 3.9, so any updated version will most likely not look like this. But anyway, here we are, and the first thing that we're gonna go down to edit sync songs, and I'm just gonna randomly hold on, give me a minute. Here we go. I'm just gonna go to a random song that I have not edited it all. So, all right. So this is usually where you go. That's how you go to edit songs and such. And here you can see this is the step chart layout, and this is where you can place arrows. But this is also where you can place background animation clips. And so this is where things kind of get a little more complicated. So the first thing, and actually I would say, in my personal opinion, because I've been doing this for quite a long time now, putting together background animation sequences is not really that hard for me anymore, because you know, I've just been doing this for years and I'm used to it. But from my experience, I would say the most difficult thing about putting together background animation sequences is choosing what background clips that you want to put in the song, because there's all different kinds of background clips to pick from, and you know, it's just really, for me, it's really difficult to figure out which one do you think matches the song best. Because to give you guys some more advice, when you're picking background animation clips for your background animation sequence, try to be logical and reasonable. You know, don't just pick. Obviously, you wouldn't have bright pink, colorful images on Max 300 or The Legend of Max or Max Period or Paranoia Survivor. You know, you want to, and obviously you wouldn't choose dark, creepy looking images and a cute, happy, fun song like Love Shine, or you know, hyper Eurobeat. You know, and so before we start actually putting background clips together, I want to show you something else on that website, because there's something else on this website that comes very handy. This is actually right here, this link right here. It's called Background Video Thumbnail Charts, and this is this is thumbnails of the background video clips that you just downloaded, and you can click on it to make it bigger. And so you have all this, you know, stuff. This chart will make it easier for you to look at stuff, and you can look at the thumbnails and, oh, that looks really good, I'll put that in that song, you know, or I'll put this one in this song, you know. And so, I mean, obviously the difficult part is it's, you know, kind of tricky to navigate, because you have, you know, you can't, it's not really easy to pinpoint. Like, I want to click on that one right there, and I'll click on it, and it won't directly take me to it, you know. So you might have to, like, you know, after clicking on it, then you're going to have to like scroll around a little bit. And so, and also, not only is it a thumbnail, but it also has a specific file name, and that's one thing that will help us also when placing background video clips in the measure right here. This is these little, you know, like this whole thing is called a measure, and you know, this is measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, measure 4. It's very similar to the original edit mode in an actual DDR game. So the only difference is the beautiful thing about Stepmania is you can have 30-second notes and 64th notes, and Konami, for whatever stupid reason, didn't allow us to have those same access to those notes and patterns in the original game. So whatever. But anyway. All right, so now this is where I kind of struggle to explain things, because it does get a little tricky here. So after, so let's say, you know, I'm going to make a background animation sequence to this song right here, and I look around this chart, and I've picked out all my background animation clips that I want. And by the way, sorry, one last little thing of advice: try not to pick too much. You know, you don't want to pick too many background clips, because I feel not a rule, but like my personal advice is for every background video clip that you pick, you don't want to pick a background video clip and then just show it once and then not show it again. I mean, unless, depending on the song, like let's say there's a song that has the sound of a gunshot and you want to use that, where is it? Or I guess it doesn't matter. Let's say, you know, there's that background clip of an explosion, and that's the only part of the song that you want to use that clip. That's okay. But I mean, but other than that, you don't want to pick too many background clips, because then you're going to have to worry about making sure that each background video clip has an equal amount of airtime, you know, if you know what I mean. And it kind of, you know, you don't want to cram too much into the song, and you want to be sure that each background video clip has at least a fair amount of, you know, face time or airtime or whatever you want to call it. So That's just one last thing of advice. But anyway, it's technically up to you. You know, you can do whatever you want really with this background editing business. But that's my advice though. If you want to make a good, I guess what I would consider a good background animation sequence. So anyway, so we're gonna make okay. So I got this song, and let's say I spent time looking at this big chart. And I've picked out all the clips that I want to use. So now, and just to make things easier, I'm gonna put a clip right here at this first tick mark. Now here's something. This is like the first big thing that I'm going to struggle to explain. So as you can see, there's red. You got the red arrows and the yellow and the blue, and those the red arrow, those are the 4th notes. The yellow arrow, those are the 16th notes, and the blue arrow, those are the 8th notes. Now, how do you change those colors? Where you on your keyboard, you do this. You click left or right. If you want to go to the 8th note, you go this way, and if you want to go further, to go, so that's basically what you do. And the background animation clips, this is kind of again the tricky part to explain it. You place background animation clips to the beat or whatever beat you want to put it to with the song. It's kind of almost the same thing as placing arrows on the step chart, but this time we're going to be placing background clips. And so just again to make it easier, I'm going to put a background clip on this first tick mark right here. And to do that, you go to exit and you click the escape button. And then what you do is go down to add or edit a background change. And then you click enter or hit enter. And then now you got all these options here, and I'm gonna obviously have to go one by one and explain what all these are. But the first things first, so down here are all of the background clips that we just downloaded into the Stepmania program folder. And now this is the really frustrating thing. So let's say so as you can see, it's alphabetically listed, A, B, you can already probably tell what I'm going to say here. So let's say that you want to place a clip that the file starts with the letter T. So that means you're going to have to sit here and wait until you get all the way down to the T's. See, we're just sitting here and it's taking forever. And I'm holding down the button, by the way, and this is the fastest that it can go, and it's taking forever. So there's no shortcut, unfortunately. There's nothing you can really do to get there faster. If you want to place a clip that starts with a letter X or something, you are going to unfortunately have to start all the way from letter A and then sit here and then wait to get to the bottom of the list. So that's the first frustrating thing. But okay, I'm just to save time, let's pick this clip. So now I have that clip placed onto that tick mark. Now let's go back to those options that we saw earlier. So let's discuss the first option. So this first option, rate, and you can see you got 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, and 200 is the highest you can go. And then you can also go the other way. You got 60, 70, 80, 50, 40, and the lowest you can go is 0. So what rate stands for is the rate, that is how fast the BG clip plays. So obviously if you want, if you're gonna have a slow song, you might, and this is where you kind of have to experiment because it's just kind of difficult to kind of think about yourself. So you have to kind of just guess. But so let's say you're doing a slow song, you probably would want the BG clip to play at a slower rate, like 90 or 80 or 70 or 60. Now that's something that you're going to have to experiment with, because you think you want it at 60, and then when you go back and you look at your finished product, you realize now that's not slow enough. So then you're going to have to go back to edit mode and change it again. And 0. What 0% does, 0%, the BG clip does not play at all. It's like a freeze or a pause, So 10 is the slowest it'll go, and 0% the background clip won't play at all. It'll just be a screenshot of the background clip. So that's how it works. And you know, of course, 200 is the fastest. You know, that means the BG clip will play super fast. And so that's basically what rate is. Now fade, that's pretty simple. Fade is, you know, fade is what you normally do in the beginning of a background video sequence. You have the background picture for the song, and the moment the measure, let me go back. The moment that this starts, let me show you. Whoops. So the moment that this first bar of the measure comes up, the background picture will slowly fade away into the background clip. Or if you don't want to do that, then you can just say no, it won't fade, and then what will happen instead is the background video clip will suddenly just pop up and start playing, and the background picture will not fade away, you know. And that's normally, again, that's normally what you do at the beginning of a background video sequence. You know, you fade into the beginning, but then at the end, the picture will, if you want at least, the background picture will pop up, and you know. But you can in fact do the same thing, you know. Anyway, excuse me. All right, now this is the one option that's really difficult for me to explain. So to best explain what rewind movie is, this is the best way that I can explain it. Okay, so let's say there is a background animation clip. I'm totally making this up, by the way, because this is the best way that I can explain this. Let's say there is a background animation clip. It's just a plain white screen with a red ball. And what the animation is, it's this little red ball moving around on the white screen. And how the animation plays, you have the little red ball, and how it starts, the ball starts off in the middle, and then it goes up, down, and then back to the middle, and then up, down, back to the, and it just basically loops from there. So let's say you want to pick that background clip, and we put that background clip of that, you know, little red ball bouncing and moving around on a white screen. We put that right here, and then let's say we put a new background clip right here, and then we want to go back after that to the clip of the red ball. So, you know, clip of the red ball, a new clip, and then back to the red ball right here. So you have the background clip of the red ball right here, and right before we go to the new background clip on number 2, the last thing that you see on that clip is the ball going down. Well, so you have the red ball clip, the new clip, and then back to the red ball clip. When you go back to the clip of the red ball, the first thing that you will see is the clip of the red ball at the bottom of the screen where we left off. If so that's what happens. That's what happens if you say no to rewinding the clip. And most of the time, you don't want that to happen. I mean, you know, it's gonna if you. And that's why, you know, again, it's difficult to explain. So whenever, again, and this is just a recommendation, but when you're placing background video clips, I recommend that you always rewind the clip. So basically, again, what that means is if you rewind the clip, so, you know, clip of the red ball, the new clip, and then clip of the red ball, but not only do we have the clip of the red ball again, we rewind it. What that means is, instead of seeing the ball at the bottom of the screen like we saw the first time before it went to the new clip, it will start back again in the middle of the screen. And so basically, that's basically what the rewind clip is. You know, the clip will start back at the beginning every single time you place it somewhere. And I would always recommend doing that, because if you don't do that, it'll throw off the flow of the background video sequence. It'll look very funky. So whenever you're placing background video clips, I always recommend making sure you say yes to this every single time. So that way every background video clip will restart, you know, and it'll flow nicely and it'll make sense, and that's really the best way I can explain that. So hopefully y'all understood that, and so that's what that is. Now, I actually don't. This is kind of weird. I don't really have much to say about loop, because I've never messed with it in my life and I've never felt the need to, and it's always on yes, and so for this is the one option I have nothing to say about. I have nothing to say because I've never messed with it, and if you just leave it like it is, because whenever you go back to here, it's always on yes, and so whenever I've been putting background video sequences together, I don't mess with it, so I got nothing to say about this, and I also have nothing to say about this either, because I've never messed with this either, so that's really all I can say about these two. Now this one's an important one. This is the background picture for the song, and it's very important for you to pay attention to the title of the file. That's what this is. This is the title of the file. You always want to make sure, because obviously at the beginning, at the end of this, and the end of the song, you're going to have the song's background picture, and thankfully you don't need to really worry about doing this. So now I just got rid of the background clip that I placed there, and I put the song's background picture here. But you don't have to worry about doing this at the beginning, because the background clip, the song's background picture is automatically always at the very beginning. In fact, you can't go above and beyond the number 1. So you don't ever have to really worry about actually putting this here at the beginning of the song, but you do need to put this at the end of the song when you're done, when the background animation sequence is over. So, whenever, and I don't really want to have to go all the way down to the bottom where the song ends, but I'll do it just to clarify. So let's go down. This will take a minute. Yeah. Give this a minute. This will be a while, because I just want to be sure I make my point. So just hypothetically speaking, we have all these background animation clips placed in wherever I want to put them. And then we're getting towards the end of the song and the background animation sequence is over. I would so this is the final note of the song. So this is where I would go here. I would scroll down. And so you have the final background animation sequence wherever it is, and then you go back. So when you have this right here, the background animation sequence will abruptly end, and it will immediately go back to the background picture. And also you don't have to put the background picture on the final note of the song. Kind of on your own personal preference. If you decide that this is where I want the background video sequence to end, then I'll put this right here. Or I can put it anywhere. It's all personal preference and what you want to do. So, but that's just basically what you do when you're showing that this is the end of the background animation sequence, and now I want to go back to the animation. I want to go back to the song's original background picture, because if you don't do that, if you don't place this, wherever you want to place it towards the end of the song, what will happen is the last background clip that you place, it'll keep playing until you see those stars, across the screen, and then the cleared or passed or whatever pops up, and that might look a little funky if you choose to leave it like that. So just know that you have to place this wherever it is you want to place it, so the background animation sequence will come to an end and the song will go back to its original background picture. And there's something else that I need to point out regarding this. Always make sure that when you go here and you're getting ready to place this, don't accidentally hit this, because what this is, so as you can see, there's two different. Make sure that the file says BG, that stands for background, because if you hit this is the song's banner, and you don't want, I don't think you would really want that as the background picture at the end of the song after the background video animation sequence is done. So that that might be kind of weird for you, unless of course you want to do that. But I just want to remind you, This is the background picture. This is the banner, and for those of you who don't know, the banner is that little rectangle when you're choosing songs, and you have like that 15-second preview of the song, and then there's that little rectangle square that shows you the title of the song and the artist and blah blah blah. So always just remember, when you're placing the background picture wherever you want to place it, be sure that you always have it on this and don't accidentally go to the banner. So, and that's pretty much it in terms of like this screen here. And obviously this one's pretty simple. This is, let's say I don't want this here anymore. I'll just remove change and see there it's gone. But there is one thing I need to specify. If, let's say, I put the background picture on the 8th note right here, or not even just the background picture, I can also do the same thing with background clips. This has to be blue for me to remove it, because if I go back to red, now I can't. You see, I can't get in between and go back to the 8th note right here in the inside the bar of the measure, because see, watch, you see I can't see, that doesn't appear because there's no background clip here, and I can't. I go up, nothing there. So I have to go back to blue, and you see now now I can remove it. So whenever you're just keep that in mind. Whenever, always be sure that you have this change to whatever beat you want to put the song on, and you decide that you want to remove it, then because if you want to put a background clip on a 8th note beat, and then you go back to red, then you're going to be stuck, and you're not going to be able to remove it unless you have it to the setting, and that goes for any of the notes, And for the most part, I think most of the time, depending on who you are and what song you're editing, I think most of the time you will use either the red or the blue. Very rarely have I ever put a background animation clip on a 16th note or a triplet note, which is the color purple. It's really weird. In the game of DDR, a triplet note is a green arrow, but in Stepmania, it's purple, and so. But it's the same thing. But anyway, my point is, I've never really found myself putting notes or background animation clips on 16th note beats or triplet beats. So most of the time, you'll probably most likely be using either 8th notes or 4th notes or 8th notes, and so it's that's not that. I don't think you'll ever have to worry about using these. Or even further, like I don't know which color is which, because you have 16th notes. Now I don't know if this is a 32nd note or a 64th note. So these you kind of have to experiment with, but those notes beyond that are kind of difficult to place background video clips. So I think you won't have to worry about that though. So all right, I'm trying to think. Here we go. This is where I start to really struggle. Okay, I remember now. Okay, so let's go back to here's a shortcut to get back to the beginning more quickly. Just play whole song, and then exit, and you're back at the beginning. All right, so there actually is. Remember when I said, let's say you want to. First, let me get rid of this. All right, so let's say. So we're back at we're still at the beginning of the list here. And you want to place a background video clip that starts with the file starts with a letter that's like far down the list, and you have to sit here and take forever, blah blah blah. You're just taking forever and forever and forever. There actually is one way that you can make it quick. So now, okay, I'm gonna be a little random here. So I'm just gonna place this here, and then I'm gonna place this here. And so now, let's for example, let's say that this file is one of the files that's like starts with the letter Y or something. I don't want to have to go back to number 3 and once again go to the list and take forever to go all the way down the list. One thing that you can do is so we're gonna put a background clip down here, but we don't want to have to wait to go through the list. So what you can do is scroll up and go back to right here, and what you do is you press, so this is the background clip that we want to place again, but we don't want to have to go through that list again. So what you'll do is you'll go back here and you'll hit enter again as if you're placing it. And watch this. So one more time. This is the file. Hit enter. Go to number 3. See? And so that's like the easy way and the quickest way to place background video clips without having to go down the line placing clips and having to sit here every single time and start from the beginning of the list and wait from A to Z. That's the quickest way to do it. So and let's say the opposite now. I want to place this on number 4, and now I have to go back the other direction. I'll just once again go here, and see the name of the file pops up. So that is the best way to go down the list without having to always start from the letter A and go down the line of all the file names A through Z and take forever. That what I just showed you is the best way to do it. I probably butchered my way of actually explaining it, but hopefully visually you were able to see what I was doing. So and that's actually pretty much it, you guys. The final thing, and I can't emphasize this enough, don't wait until the end when you're putting all the stuff together and you get to the end, you've got everything ready. Don't wait until the end to save stuff. I would say save as you're, I'm not going to save now because I don't want to, this is just an example, but always, I would say save as you're going along, because I remember this vividly, I made the mistake years ago. I was putting a background video sequence together, and it was really late at night, and I was kind of sleepy and drowsy and not paying attention. I was doing this, and I meant to go right here because obviously I wanted to place another background clip, but because I was not paying attention, I was sleepy, I went all the way down and I exited without saving, and it was the suckiest thing ever. I lost all my work, and I can't even show you because I didn't save what I was doing. It's now all gone. And so save as you're going along. Don't wait till the end to save everything, because you don't want to potentially make that mistake that I made, because that's going to be very sucky if that happens to you. So, and now I just remembered the one final thing. So how do you watch what you've put together? It's actually fairly simple, and it's actually a shame because there was an older or alternate version of Stepmania 3.9 where you could watch your background animation sequence right here. As this was going, the background animation sequence would play in the background here, and for some reason my version doesn't do that anymore. So, but there is still a way. So you click the escape button, you exit, and you click escape again, or hold the button, excuse me. This is the main menu, blah, blah, blah. Oh, whoops. And I'm actually going to play another different song that does have a background animation, so let me give me a minute to find one. Okay, this right here. Click enter. Now I'm not going to be playing as I'm explaining this, so I'm just going to let all the arrows... Oh, great, it just froze. Okay, there we go. Okay, now watch. I'm going to turn the song down because I don't want to get a copyright notice if the song is copyrighted. Now I'm going to let this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. See, there you go. And there's the background. Now this is something that came. I did not make this specific one right here. This came like this when I downloaded the song, but you can see the background animation sequence is playing just fine. And this is basically how you watch back what you've created. And if you notice something that's off or doesn't feel right, you can just hold back hold down the escape button and do it again, and then you just go back to here, and you find you go find the song that you edited earlier, and then you can go back and edit and blah blah blah. So that's basically how it works. That's pretty much all I can think of in terms of creating background sequences and putting it together and stuff like that. I'm sure I've probably forgotten like a million other things, but if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And I'm hoping I didn't butcher this tutorial video as badly as I'm thinking I might have, but yeah, that is pretty much how it is, and those are all the options, and those are all the little things that's how they work, and that's how you put stuff together and come out with your final product. And yeah, that really is about it. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this video. I apologize again if I didn't do a good job explaining certain things, and I also do apologize if I, for taking forever to make this tutorial video, because this was requested of me like years ago, and it's taken me so long to finally get this done. But that's basically how it works. Thank you guys for watching, and again, if you have any questions about how this stuff works, if I didn't clarify anything properly, just again ask a question. I'll do my best to answer it and explain it in the comment section, and I shall see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching, and peace out.